Come on, please. Yes! 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 Yes!
Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is episode number 57 of the 9 Dart Podcast, your one-stop shop for talking tongues. And on today's episode, Luke Littler silences the Boo Boys in Liverpool, Beau Greaves makes history on the Pro Tour, and Trinidad and Tobago will debut at the World Cup of Darts in June. Joining me to discuss that and so many more things in a huge edition as we're back in the studio this week, it is Josh. How are you, Josh?
Hello, very well. You summed it up perfectly and more. It's very good. 12:34 as we record. Wow, there's so much going on. Let's just get started.
Let's get started. Let's not waste a second. This is going to be a bumper edition.
Oh, yes.
All right. We've had the Premier League in Liverpool. Fair enough for a Premier League night, I thought.
Night. Yep.
Solid
Good
enough
stuff.
night. As we'll get when we get to it in the best story, it's starting to become perhaps a fraction obvious who the four are going to be,
Yes.
but there's still a little bit of hope if things go really good for us this week. But for me, that wasn't the biggest story that I wanted to put in the first thoughts. Now, we recorded our last episode on a Wednesday because I was blocked out on the Thursday.
Yep.
But on that Thursday, sort of Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, I saw a story that I absolutely loved when I had to tell the world about it on our social media page. And I put this in the first thoughts. We're just going to very quickly become a horse racing podcast. So you can skip through this if you want to get to the darts. Yes, exactly. We're becoming the 2 Units podcast, Nick Ford and Dave Streeler, just ever so briefly. But Luke Littler and Stephen Bunting have bought a racehorse together with Michael Owen, who's a legendary English soccer player, £54,000. Now, you would hope with the money that these two have, they'd be able to buy a very nice colt.
Yep.
Hugo Palmer is the trainer. Like I said in that Instagram video, not exactly a household name. He did train Galileo Gold. That's his best horse. He won a 2,000 guineas at St. James Palace, so 2 big Group 1s there for 3-year-olds in 2016. The sire also side Perfect Power, who was a Royal Ascot winner. Hugo Palmer said he's been impressed. Apparently, Stephen Bunting is a big racing fan, which just makes me very happy. And Luke Littler was really enjoying himself at Cheltenham during the festival there at the Jumps Racing Festival they have there in March with Humphreys. Humphreys was there as well, and Aspinall might have been there as well from memory. So it's great to see them coming together. The horse hasn't raced yet. It's an unraced 2-year-old colt. It's gonna debut probably in June. Seemingly it's trialing well and prepping well. So it's one that's been put straight into the black book. One to keep an eye on. And we will follow it with great interest there. The horse is named Bunting Mental because of course it is. Of course it is. Stephen Bunting's had horses named, like there was a racehorse, a jumps horse that had been going, I think it's still going, named Bunting. So he wasn't involved in that one. It just had that name. So I'm very excited to see how Bunting Mental goes, and we'll keep an eye out for a debut somewhere in June. Apparently, the flat season is really getting underway. I will say UK horse racing is very frustrating to watch at times. Just the way they do things, we wouldn't even dare do in Australia. With the way with their procedure at the start and the fact that they don't use barriers in jumps races. So
really, they don't.
Yeah, it's all very, very weird.
Well, for those that I have really no interest, but I'm not really invested as you are. For sure.
No. I follow it so regularly. I listen to some podcasts every now and then. Like I mentioned, Nick Foote and Dave Streeler who do the 2 Units, and I've been with them. Nick Foote is the most talked about man in Australian sport for reasons that have nothing to do with horse racing. But also darts. Slightly do to do with horse racing or darts. But I'm a big fan of them. I've known them through opportunities at Holmesglen. So
very good.
I'm very much looking forward to that. So if you want horse racing deep dives, at least on Australian horse racing, go to the 2 Units. We're going to transition back to darts, but I just had to mention it because of the darts element there.
Oh, of course.
With Bunting and Littler. So we'll keep an eye on Bunting Mental. I'm going to be following every run it has and maybe doing a bit of dissecting on it if it gets a good run, or if it just has shocking run in transit, or if it bursts away and we're like, oh, hang on, this thing could run in big races. So we'll keep an eye on how Bunting Mental does. Well, it's going to start, as all 2-year-olds do, it's going to start in shorter races. I don't know. Well, given the best horse of the sire is a sprinter, it probably could might not be able to run 2 miles, but we'll see. Who knows? Red Rum was bred to be a sprinter, and it won 3 Grand Annuals, Grand Nationals, which is the toughest race of all.
Wow.
4.5 miles jumps racing. The Grand Annual was an Australian jumps race. That's why I got myself confused. Anyway, I'm thoroughly looking forward to see how Bunting Mental does, and we'll keep an eye on that one on the 9 Darts podcast. Swinging back to darts now. We're starting to do the darts archive a little bit early, so we don't just sort of brush over it.
Yeah.
I watched this Peter Wright, Gary Anderson game. It was weird to see Peter Wright actually playing pretty well.
You did play pretty well, yeah.
I'd actually had seen one bit of this game before when, I think, was it Rod Studd who was commentating with Wayne Martin? It was like 9-9-9 when he missed double 9 in the first leg.
No.
And Wayne was like, I knew you were going to do that.
No. Great game.
This was in it. This
Tight
was a good
tussle.
match.
Ended up
Premier
in a
League
draw
night
in the end.
2018.
Yes. So Wright hit a crucial 140 in that last leg, flew himself 87. Gary has a shot at the ball to win, doesn't get it. Wright has a shot.
Wright shot the ball to win, missed. Gary
comes
hits the
back,
ball to
bang,
draw.
9 maxis in total. So that was a great game.
And it was a bit of a slow burn with those 180s. There weren't a ton at the
there
start,
wasn't.
but it really sort of kicked
At
on
the
in the
end,
end.
yeah.
I was sort of listening to that crowd as well in that match, thinking I can understand. We get that sort of talking point of this current Premier League format is better for people in the venue, and the old one's better for TV. And I think you could feel that in this game. It was sort of the end of a long night, so perhaps, and it was 2 Scottish players playing in Germany, so perhaps there wasn't the great atmosphere perhaps the last game of the night should have had or could have had. But yeah, that was an interesting match to throw in the darts archive. I've got a real doozy one this week, very fitting.
Stay tuned.
And it's sort of it's a different darts archive in a way that will make sense when we get to the end. Right, let's get to the week that was.
Yes.
Starting with crazy moments. Gary hit a 9-darter. Speaking of Gary Anderson, he usually plays pretty well on the floor these days.
He does,
which was weird because about the time of that darts archive match, he really wasn't. So that was excellent to see.
Yeah, it was. I'm still so annoyed that he didn't accept that invitation to the Premier League. But hey,
It'd be so
it
good
was
to see him
never
on the
gonna
Premier League, but it's unless they change the format
Maybe
to
next
where
year.
it's an alternate thing where he only plays one week and not the other week.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe next year we're going to have a real, very, very different Premier League format. So it is possible.
There's one man who might be discussed later on in this show, but yes, he hit a 9. I'm not sure who it was against, but again, because
Can't remember
they
either. It was
post
set.
it if it's not on.
It wasn't.
on
It wasn't on a
stream.
it wasn't on a streaming board, Josh. It wasn't on a
Annoying.
stream board. If it was on a stream board, we'd have the footage of it.
We sure would.
Instead, we just have a nice graphic. But well done, Gary.
Yes.
It counts all the same. We also have 9
Jack
darters being
Bellingham.
hit
Yes.
in the WF side of things.
WF tour, yes. So Jack Bellingham hit one in the England Youth GP group game with Freddie Owens. So there you go. Nice to get a 9-darter for the young kid.
I don't have a
So
future
very
star this week, so we might as well. Jack Bellingham,
There you
very
go.
well done. I don't have
Yeah.
any other information on what you did, but you had a 9-darter, so that's pretty
Yes.
cool.
Pretty good if you ask me.
We'll get to Beau Greaves a little more earlier, but in the match that made history against Michael Smith, this sort of got lost in everything else. I did turn the volume down on the TV earlier, and I should have, and I'll turn it back up in a moment. But there is the 170 for Beau Greaves, the fish, reeling in the fish. And that sort of got lost in everything else that happened on that day, and we'll get to that a little bit later. I'm sure you're all looking forward to our conversation on that.
Yes.
And it wasn't the only 170. Andy Bartons did this at the
International pairs
at the Modus.
Yes,
Bullseye!
against England. Right in the middle. Easy as you like. That's always good fun, the international pairs. We'll talk about that later. But
We
yes,
will.
big fish there as
Now,
well.
what was this about?
James Wade. Just have to listen very carefully here.
He was just telling Scott Givlins what the score actually was. I'm going to...
So pretty much what happened here, for those who hadn't seen it, there was a bit of a issue on the Dark Connect screen, a bit of freezing and some scores weren't being inputted correctly. And Wadey was being the ref himself. He asked old mate to
Scott
input it
Givlins.
in, Scott Givlins, yeah. And worked down the end, and Charlie Mamby had a bit to say as well. But that was all sorted. But yeah, just kind of funny. He just goes and bees the ref himself, you know, just no dramas involved. But there you go.
Usually me
Quite a funny
walking off
moment as
screen
well.
and then coming back on screen is something we'd cut, but you did that very well, so we're just going to leave that in. I just went to
pleasure.
get the remote because we do have a few more clips
We do.
to show. And there was also stuff happening on the development tour
Bielczewski,
during the week. And
he's playing
Sebastian
some great
Bielczewski
stuff.
is playing great stuff on the dev
I
tour.
think he's well in the run for the match play, isn't he? Or like pretty close? Or is it the...
He's close for the match. Yes, he is
yeah.
close for the match
Yeah,
play,
very
and he's
close.
doing very well on the dev tour as well.
Yes. Yeah, so he hit
I think
three
he's-
averages of 105.47 on the dot in the Dev Tour 2 in the Dev Tour 8 and 1 in the Dev Tour 10. All
That's pretty funny to have
all
it right
4-0
on
whitewashes as well.
Right
Yeah.
on the dot, all
On the
4-0
dot.
whitewashes, all 57 darters. That's how that ends up working out. Points all
Yep.
the same. That's remarkable to have. We talk about consistent performances and wanting to be consistent, Josh, in sport. That's how you do it, by
Oh,
doing
yeah.
it thrice in a weekend. Very well
Very
done
true.
to Sebastian. Let's get to the Premier League
yes.
now, and then we'll get to the history making in the Pro Tour. Let's start
We
with
will.
Luke Lilla, who wins in Liverpool
He did.
behind enemy lines. Not the most popular there, and that was his
No.
reaction when he won. I think it was his maybe semi-final.
Yeah.
Yes, the semi-final against
Let's
Michael Van
dissect
Gogh,
it.
which was a thrilling match.
It was a good match.
Michael has really let that one slip, and
did.
even though it's in a good position in fourth, again, this might be another match where it's like, if he'd won that one, maybe and if he doesn't make it at the end, it's like, oh, that's the one where the chance went to
Could've hurt
begging.
him. Yep.
But 6-2 win over Luke Humphries.
Yep.
No one expected it to be that one-sided.
No,
Let's be
unfortunately
honest.
not. Yeah. Well,
but-
for us at least.
Yeah. We got the classic with Van Gogh and Littler 6-5 in that one.
That was
and Littler
probably
just
the
found
match
a
of the
way
night for
to
sure. Yeah,
yes, he just found a way to get over the line.
Yep.
And then it was no competition in the final. He was
No,
just
he was
on it
too good.
again against
good.
Jonny Clayton, 6-1. Clayton himself again making another final. But winning in last leg deciders against Bunting and Van Veen. In the Bunting Clayton match, all legs went with throw.
Yep.
The guy throwing first won all of those. And
breaks.
unfortunately, my man Bunting wasn't able to
Yeah.
quite do that. Hopefully Bunting Mental goes better at his first start.
Yeah. My man Rocky lost as well, unfortunately. I mean, it wasn't too bad. He just probably didn't hit the doubles at the best of times, and Bunting, MVG was a fraction better.
MVG's
we saw
timing
that
was a
sort
bit
of
better.
little vintage side of MVG just for a little bit. He was
for
just
bits
really
and,
good in
just
some
bits
parts.
and periods. The thing at the
Ebbs and
moment is
flows,
he's
yeah.
the problem with Van Gogh at the moment is we're seeing way more of his B and C game than we ever saw.
100%.
And those are like even like prime Mark Van Gogh, and he could have won a knockout tournament with his B game.
Yeah.
He can't do that anymore because his B
No.
game is just so far down. So if he's not at nigh on 100 average, exceeding 100. He's struggling to win against these big competitions.
Yep.
Be interesting when we get to
True.
the World Match Play when he's defending the runners-up prize money.
Yes. Yep.
And he might draw like a really informed player in the first round. And could be in proper trouble there. So we're all sort of building towards the World Match Play at the moment.
We sure are.
But Littler did really well to win the night. Here's the
Here's the
standings
standings. Here we
after week 12, night 12. Jonny Clayton's still on top.
Yep.
Both he and Littler with the 4 Premier League wins. That's 2/3 of the entire
I know.
competition. It's amazing how
Unbelievable.
they're really doing at it. It
Van
feels
Veen,
like
Humphries, Rock
it's
Stewart,
shaping
O'Neill
up for a
wins,
Clayton.
yes.
If it's not a Clayton Littler final at the O2 in a month's time, it feels like something's gone wrong there. Something's gone
Yeah.
really wrong either in
Clayton
the lead up
Price.
or on finals night.
He's still playing well. Very well.
Yeah, but it hasn't quite clicked in the last few weeks.
Yeah. True.
Which is
I think in
which
the
I'll
early
reference
phase
again when
been
we get to the
alright,
week
yeah.
ahead. But right now it's all about making the 4. Once you make the
Correct.
4,
Yep.
then anything can happen on the final night of the competition. So at the moment, Van Gogh's got 4 points on Van Veen. Now, if he wins his first round game this week, his quarterfinal this week, he's in a very, very strong position. If he loses it, and one of the 3 guys behind him, if we get a final between Humphries and Bunting are on the different sides of the brackets, for
probable,
example.
yeah.
So if they made the finals, then all of it,
Points,
it doesn't really matter who wins. Probably it's more damaging if Humphries wins, obviously, because he's closer.
Yep.
There, things get interesting.
Very interesting.
For someone like Bunting, he probably needs to win 2 of the last 4 nights and make a final. So it's not impossible, but it's
More unlikely than not.
it's more unlikely than not
Yeah.
for our 2 guys.
But strange things
As
happen.
long as Bunting doesn't finish last, I'll be reasonably happy.
Yes.
Because that would be his best performance in a Premier League ever. Mind you, it's only his 3rd time. Clayton Littler, by the way, it's needless to say almost at this point, but they have absolutely qualified. There's no
Yeah,
mathematical
they're
way
locked.
that they
Yep.
can drop out. It kind of doesn't look like it if you look at that chart. You think, well, there's still, but the way the bracket works out and the way that not everyone can score that many, they'll be fine. They'll be
Yep.
there. We expect top
Lock 'em
2
in.
as well,
Yep.
so they'll be there, and it's technically 6 fighting over 2 spots. It feels like it might be down to 3 fighting over 2, unless Bunting wins back-to-back nights, in which case everything
Who
becomes interesting.
knows?
And
Yeah. Could happen. You never know. Yeah, well, it's interesting. So, again, if MVG lose in that first round, that's where it gets interesting. If Van Veen or Humphries can make a little run, you just never know.
it's very difficult to know. I'm going a question without notice here for you. It's
Yep.
very difficult to know what sports administrators are thinking. Do you think, if you had to predict, do you think we see a change in the Premier League format for next year? If you had to predict it.
Depending on just standings or just
No, the
in
format for
general.
next year.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah. It,
Potentially. It's been in the media a lot. There's been a
And
lot
it
of
gets-
speculation from players, from fans, from influencers as such. You know who I'm talking about.
yes,
there.
yeah.
So-
You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, I think everyone knows who I'm talking about. So potentially, again, your video on here
I
and
gave
also on
my
your-
one.
You gave your whole
What
spiel of it,
I
which
could see,
I liked.
what I could
personally.
see happening is, and I think people like Chris Mason have mentioned this,
Mm.
and what I could easily see them doing is sort of doing a hybrid model of doing The first half of the Premier League is the old format where you play
Yep.
one game a night. The second half of the Premier League, the last 7 nights, is this format where you'd only play each other once. Basically, the ANZ Premier League.
Yes. Yep.
For that second half, but the first half is the classic format. With maybe you bring back draws for that first half, maybe you don't. It'd be interesting how points work.
Love
Also,
the draw.
something we don't speak about enough because we sort of get lost in everything else, and it feels like it doesn't matter, but it actually does matter. And I might actually do an exercise for next week
Sure.
to show you this. Why is it, Josh, that the first match of the night is worth 2 points, the next match of the night is only worth 1, and then the last match is worth 2 again? Because you get 2, 3, and 5. Nobody knows the answer to
I
this.
don't know.
Because Dan Dawson and Wayne Mundell, I think, were commentating. We're talking about that, and they were like, "Well, why is that the case?" And you're like, "I don't know." It doesn't make any sense to me. I think a more logical system would be 1, 2, 4, and I think that changes things. I think it put more of an emphasis on that nightly win.
Yes.
I'm going to go away and see what that would have done.
Interesting. Yeah,
I believe if they had used it last year, I don't think Bunting would have finished last.
Really?
Yes, I think Cross would have finished last below Bunting. So it changes the way you think about the Premier League if they use a different points format. If they used a 1, 2, 3, if they used 1, 2, 4, if they used 2, 3, 5, if they used 2, 4, 6.
Weird.
I think it changes the way because you think, oh, Bunting was just the worst player last year. But if they used a different format, a different point
system,
maybe he wouldn't have
would
been.
have been better, probably. Who knows?
It's that classic thing they do all the time in F1 where they YouTubers do videos of if the 2021 season used the 1980 points format, does that change the winner? And often it doesn't, but sometimes it does. And they use the literal format of we cut off these races because that's the way it works back then. But anyway, I might do that exercise for next week if I remember.
There you go.
But perhaps the biggest story, maybe this in a way, this is a positive surprise. This is the best stories in the feel-good story of the week. This is the one that was bound to happen at some point, and it's happened so early, and I'm so happy about it for reasons I'll get to in a second.
Yeah.
Players Championship 11 of the Pro Tour was won by one Bow Greaves. And in any other time, we would have been talking about Michael Smith making the final and going, well done, Michael, really. And we should say that
We
very
should
well done
absolutely
to
credit
Michael.
that as well.
And
No
that would
doubt.
have been the story everyone would have wanted to see him win another title after, the injuries he's had. But it was not the field. It's not the one we wanted.
Not the case.
And the way it was done as well with, I think she went 2-0 down and then fought back to 4-2, and then it was a battle, and then it went to a deciding leg, and then the 1-4-2 to win it.
That was
After Smith had left his favourite double,
Double
basically
10.
double 10.
Yep.
It was an insane way to do it, and to beat the 3 world champions along the way,
Yes.
beating Rob Cross, who made a quarterfinal, Gary Anderson, and then Michael Smith.
Michael Smith, of course.
It was something really special, and it went all over the world, Josh.
And she bashed Gary Anderson to 7-1 as
Yeah,
well.
I know.
That is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah. So we got the results here on the next slide as well. We may as well just go to that.
So the results of the next slide. I was trying to work out what the slide order was.
Yeah.
Right. So first round, Aidan Kirk, who's playing some reasonable
He's not
stuff
too
at the
bad.
moment.
He averaged 100 himself.
He averaged 100, so
That's
6-4
solid
win
for him.
there. Then
Yep.
getting over the line against Thomas Lovely 6-4 and Jeffrey Sparrow down 6-2. But it's from this stage on where things got proper difficult.
Yep.
Carl Selichek's been playing great at
Good
the start of the
player.
year
Yep.
and is currently in world match play position. He
is.
went down 6-4, and then it was these final matches: 102, 6-5 average against Rob Cross, who was averaging
He was
105.
good himself.
Gary Anderson averaging 96-1, one leg against Beau Greaves, averaging 105.5.
All those breaks of
And then
throws.
that
God.
famous final, hitting a 170 finish along the way, an 8-7 victory, 96.5 average against Michael Smith.
You knew when Beau Greaves hit that second triple 20, he looked away like, oh, here we go.
Michael
It's
Smith
happening.
knew
It's
from the
happening.
first start
From
that
the
he,
first start
he
even,
wasn't
yeah.
getting a look in. He was done. He wasn't the only one who knew that Beau Greaves was going to win a title, was he?
Mm.
Beau Greaves not only to win a Pro Tour, but to win one before the match play. I think she was so excited to see.
Incredibly, Greaves wants the same score. Oh, here we go.
Look at the turn away.
Oh, here we go. History made at Players' Championship 11. Beau Greaves becomes
I've never been more happy about being right about something.
Oh, I know.
I told you it would be before the match
I'm
play.
happy
it was,
for you and
it
for
was
her, I'm
way
sure.
before the match play too. It
Well
was at the
done.
end of April.
Great call.
It was going to happen at some point. I was bold enough to say first half of the year. I was happy we put it in a podcast episode as well. So that was, I think, 44, the sort of before the World. It
Really?
was. I think it's our most watched one. It's the Littler MVG wins the Middle East one because
that
we
one. Yeah,
previewed
yeah.
the season before the World Masters
very well,
qualifier.
yeah.
And I said she's going to win a title before before the start of the before the match play comes around, and that was how it worked out. And this is what I mean by it's going all over the world. Flash Score, Sport Bible, MSN, Yahoo Sports,
yeah.
the Washington Post,
Out of all places.
BBC, Sporting News, the New York Times, the failing New York Times, Sky Sports, their Sport Bible again, Talksport, Reuters, GB News, Daily Express, ESPN also put up an article right after I took the screenshot. It was in the 10 News, 5 o'clock news here in Australia as well. It went all over the world. And it's very good just to be talking about something in women's sport where we're not bickering at each other and we can just celebrate this fantastic thing that's happened.
Yeah.
And for someone who so long doubted her own ability.
Yes.
And perhaps a 20-year-old Beau Greaves wouldn't have got close. But this version of Beau Greaves is primed and ready to go. And while the World Match Play is going to come a little too early, the Open World Match Play, the World Grand Prix is definitely something we could see her play in and qualify for.
No doubt. How good would that be? Like, again, I also did an article, in case you didn't see next slide for extra time. I tried to get this out as soon as I could, but obviously it happened like, 3, 4 a.m. Aussie time. So
we mostly have Australian listeners, but if you were following it from Europe or from America or somewhere else in the world, let us know. It would have been a great thing to live that journey.
Yes.
To be like, oh, hang on, this might be happening. Was there a moment like, did you see? Oh, Beau Greaves has made the last date. Or maybe is the dream's on.
Yeah.
When did it? Were you down here all the way going? Oh, I don't really fancy it. When Michael Smith left double 10, did you think it was all over? It would have been something special because we didn't, because we were asleep. At least I certainly
Sound
was.
asleep.
But it would have been something special to live that journey of that day on at Play Championship 11 down there in Milton Keynes.
I mean, obviously we've absorbed so much footage and articles, whatever. So got this out as soon as I could. So as I wrote, a lot of people will be eating humble pie, I reckon, for those who doubt her ability to compete with
mind
the men.
you, they just can't play. They're just not good enough.
No. How good.
I think it's also great to and a great moment for many of those behind the scenes who set up all of the system, from Barry Hearn, who was so bold when he took over the PDC throughout his time at the start of the PDC, setting things up and making sure the PDC went from not even the biggest organisation in its own sport to being the second most watched sport on television in the UK, behind only Premier League football. Someone like Rod Harrington, who was there a lot, making sure that we had these affiliates and we had women's darts growing. They did the Women's World Championship in 2010. It was probably a little bit too early for this. They gave women a spot at the World Championship. They gave them the Women's Series, and obviously they're going to be behind because they haven't had as much time to progress. They weren't in pubs in the 70s and 80s following Eric Bristow compared to the men. But yeah, exactly. But now we're beginning to see one player come through, and hopefully it encourages 11, 12-year-olds who might be thinking about picking up a netball or any code of football or cricket ball to try darts instead.
Pick up some tungsten instead.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is the main aim of so many of these things that sports organisations put in place, like academies. Yes, you want to see players come through those academy systems.
Sure.
But also part of it is getting people who just have a very good time and become ardent followers of the sport, or even semi-casual followers of the sport. That's also important as well. It was just something that we can all celebrate and be happy about, that this happened, and it's happened this early.
You're talking about the development pathways. I think the county stuff and the JDC, they do such good work with
so the county was sort of the old system,
stuff.
but now the JDC have their
really good
pathway, and we have now Challenge Tour and Dev Tour. Beau Greaves was actually at the development tour they happened over the weekend, but didn't play the Sunday, which was, I think was really important, just to take that day off. 'Cause to do all those days in a row would have been very grueling. So to have the one day off to set herself up for the Pro Tour worked really, really well. And I think she made the last 16 on the following day. She beat Damo along the way as well.
She did.
So right now, she's playing really well. She hasn't made a Euro Tour, which is a bit disappointing. The next Euro Tour is Euro Tour 5. She's currently 4th on the reserves list. We're probably going to need more dropouts than we usually see to get her over there. It would be great, but it's probably not quite going to happen. Matt Edgar did a video that I saw this morning on how Beau Greaves might be able to make the match play, and it's very, very difficult when you factor in how much money other people are going to earn. She basically needs to make a quarter-final in the Pro Tour, basically all the way through as average. So if she wins a couple more, then maybe. And there's one more European Tour that she could qualify before the cutoff. That's Euro Tour 9. I think that qualifies next week. There's a Euro Tour 10 as well, but that's not part of the World Match Play qualification. It is before the match play, though.
Sure.
She probably needs to make that one. Maybe hope she makes 0 till 5, and then battle her way through. So it's very difficult, it's always going to be very difficult when you're only playing when you've only got that half year instead of the full year, which is what the new tour card holders have. So it might be a bit too early. Rainbow and Bonneville didn't make the match play the first year he came into the PDC. Now that was before sort of a lot of things that are in place now weren't in place then. But he made the World Grand Prix. I'm pretty sure. There, so that one's definitely much more possible, I think, for her to get there in October. And I think it would be so important for Greaves to be at a Grand Prix, to be at a match play, even if it's not this year, next year, for darts to remain a bit more relevant in the general conversation instead of just being a thing that happens at Christmas.
That's
we need sort of these. The Premier League tries to do it, and it doesn't in Europe, perhaps less so all over the world, but this does go all over the world.
It does,
and so for Greaves to be popping up, hopefully making runs at the UK Open, which didn't happen this year, or at the match play, or at the Grand Prix, and at the Grand Slam, which we know she'll be at the Grand Slam.
Yes, that's good. Very good.
In fact, the only interesting thing about this is she'll probably, through a lot of these ways, she's won a Pro Tour now. She might go into these events, which she was basically guaranteed for, through the Pro Tour qualification instead, with the Grand Slam having won a Pro Tour, and the World Championship having won a Pro Tour, even the Grand Slam. So, did I say the Grand Slam twice? I think I said the Grand Slam twice. Anyway, the things to qualify Grand Slam Place Championship is different because it's just the Pro Tour, and she's going to be she's basically already there already. And so Grand Slam and World Championship, she probably gets in through the Pro Tour, which means we probably, like last year, we probably see another woman play that otherwise wouldn't, which is big as well. So. This is just a fantastic story, and it's great that it's happened at this point, and it's great to see that it's being picked up all over the world, and that we're being able to talk about it.
Much deserves all the exposure. It's so good. Well, the question is, which is our debate today, where is her ceiling at? That's the thing. She's obviously won this Pro Tour. She's done so well in the Women's Series. We're winning over 100 games in a row, if you forgot, guys. Her ceiling's just above and beyond where it can be. So that's where's the question. Hopefully, if she was to qualify for the match play, that'd be so huge.
That would be massive.
That'd be unbelievable.
It would be unbelievable. And just looking at the World Match Play field now, I'd be like, take out Cameron Menzies, add in Beau Greaves with Gilding and Heta, who are right on the bubble now, staying in. And that's like my perfect match play field.
Damo's 16 here, and it needs to get some wins.
Damo needs to get some wins big time, and he will have European tours to do that, often as seeds as well.
Beau Greaves is 32. 35k. So she's only 20k away from Damo and Gilding. So I mean, look, she's got some work to do, no doubt.
If she wins, she probably needs to win another Pro Tour.
Yes.
To really get close.
15k roughly for a win of Pro
Tour. 15k to win a Pro Tour. So that gets you closer.
Her to 50.
But then you got to factor in other guys winning as well. So for this year, I think maybe get into an event that you otherwise maybe didn't think you would. So something like the Grand Prix. I think that's probably the ceiling for this year, and then win a game at the World Championship as well, which she hasn't done yet. In a few years' time, it's going to be. Where's she on the current order of merit, Josh? It's because the
current one.
Yeah, the current order of merit as of the end of April. Just go live order of merit.
The Grand Prix, she's 78 on that one so far. Live order of merit, I did check actually.
Just go to the front of that website. All the
plus 15.
78. Yeah, she's gone up 15 places.
Big jump.
So she's going to make the top 64. So that's this next few years covered. And then after that, it's probably like top 32, get in around top 16, win a major maybe if you're good enough. That feels like where the ceiling could be.
Doable. It's so
make
doable.
A run at the Worlds. That's probably not for this year, but it's definitely for the years to come.
2028,
2028, 2029, 2030, like 3, 4, 5 years down the line, it's probably making runs at tournaments and being consistently at TV tournaments.
Sure.
Like many of the big games, big guys are out there now. If she makes a few runs, even a Premier League call up would be, because they would love her in a Premier League.
Absolutely love.
So we might see her there one day.
All the players
in a few years
would respect her as well. Because I think, well, if people went on her side already, now they're on their side. Like I still can't believe that there was a portion of people that were doubting her and they were laughing over the fact that she's obviously competing so well with the women. She's winning all these games. Can she do against the men and laughing about it? But now, again, humble pie's been eaten, guys. I'm just saying. It's great.
Yeah, 100 so way, 98.13 there in the final. So what do you think? Is what I've laid out reasonably fair with her ceiling?
Obviously, we'd love to see it sooner, but I think just as a general point of view for the next 3-4 years, I think that's a pretty fair assessment. Yeah, but who knows? She
might speed run this.
She might speed run, and we would absolutely love that.
We would.
but
It would be amazing for the sport. It's just like again, like with the World Match Play. It's just it's probably not going to happen. It's probably going to come up a fraction too early.
Sure.
Grand Prix is much more realistic. We'll see at the Slam, at the Players Championship finals, at the World Championships, probably off the Pro Tour qualification instead of off the Women's Series qualification or any of the affiliate tours. It was a day where darts went all over the world. Is something really special happened, and the great way it was done with the 1-4-2 as well, and the big fish in the final, and the big average against Gary Anderson in the semi. Made it something proper special, and something that if you live the journey again, please do let us know how that feeling was like, because that was
please.
That was that was something you'd never forget when Beau Greaves really burst onto the scene.
Well, they've put the whole final up on the YouTube.
The whole final's
so
up on the YouTube.
I'll go give that a watch sometime because incredible. I just love to ride the wave of the emotions going through that final. Obviously, well, we can't see any of the. There's obviously highlights on the YouTube. I might go watch that.
Yeah, there's a few. There's not every match of hers was streamed, but certainly the semi-final would have been, and the quarterfinal would have been at the very least. So you can sort of live a bit of that journey, but there's nothing like seeing it live or seeing it for the first time. Did you see Gemma Hayter's, she was watching it on her TV, and she had story. She had, what was it, the security footage or something in her house caught her reaction to her winning the final couple of legs. So that was quite amusing as well.
That was very good.
So very well done, Beau. Her ceiling is very, very high. It's different for the rest of this year. It's win a few more matches, like get out of a group at the Grand Slam would be great.
That'd be fantastic.
Get to the World Grand Prix, win a match of the World Championship, maybe win a couple of matches of the Players Championship finals. That's something that feels achievable now.
Little goals.
The
just
end
to have,
of for 2 years after a tour card, it's getting to the top 64, which she may very well do in the 1 year, which would actually be interesting because she wouldn't be able to play on the other affiliate tours if she made the top 64, which would make things very interesting on a women's series point of view, really open up that field in terms of who qualifies for things and who makes it through. So...
It's so good.
What a story!
Honestly,
what a
we got
story!
the biggest smiles on our face. It's great. As soon as I saw it, I was jumping for joy, mate. I don't know about you, but so good. So good. So
well done,
again, we're just. I think the biggest thing for her is just having little goals to tick off.
Yeah.
Looking long term, but also for the next month, I want to try and do this. But just short baby steps that I think will be so good for her. But obviously, what an incredible story.
Yeah, it's an incredible story. I will say, though, World Match Play, frustratingly, it's going to come a little bit too early unless she makes it into Euro Tour 9 and maybe lucks her way into Euro Tour 5 and then goes on a run. Otherwise, it's very difficult to see her making it. But you never know. You just never know. There is Beau Greaves. 98.13 average in the final. The first woman to win a PDC ranking event.
Yeah.
And I called it before the season started to happen, before the match play. It's happened at the 11th
Make
Pro
a
Tour
reel
event.
on it. Sure. Definitely worthy of it.
Unbelievable stuff.
That wasn't worthy of, jeez.
The flop for this week, we've really moved the order around on some of these. This was the Blade. Now I need to get this number right because when this board first, yes, it's 360. Because when this board first came in, I incorrectly called it the wrong name. I called it Blade X instead, Blade 6 instead of the Blade X, which is the one they use on television. This is Blade 360. Yep. This is something that's been coming up a lot. At the start of this year, and they've signed themselves into a long deal here, the PDC, to have this board. Is it? Look, I don't really understand or care much about the manufacturing side, so I'm not sure how exactly this comes about, or whether they got something right or got something wrong. Someone like Gary Anderson has had bounce outs all the time, so it's like sometimes with so many of these things, I feel like, well, if you just threw the dot a bit better, it wouldn't have been a problem now, wouldn't it?
A bit flatter or whatever.
Yeah.
The trajectory.
There was we didn't have we tried to put in video here, but it wasn't working.
Didn't say
there was but the crazy one was the Vessel Nyman throw for the bull in the final Players Championship 12, where he had two back-to-back bounce outs that were going to the bull and then bounced out. The rule there, by the way, is you are allowed to rethrow, which is what happened. When Dart does that. It's look, it's not great. It's not ideal for the PDC from their side of things.
No, well, putting all the money into it and the partnership, and just to see players get frustrated. Like I'm sure Wessel and Jimmy Van Ski in the left there, he wasn't happy at all. So. What's the go? Is it just a matter of the darts not going in the board correctly? Is it just a manufacturing problem? I don't know.
Well, if you read the general opinion, it seems to be a manufacturing problem because they never blame the players for not throwing well enough.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. That's sort of not my expertise on these sort of things. It's definitely something you don't want to be happening and don't want it to be a conversation. But this is also one of the actually better things about darts. The nice things about darts is that we don't have controversies and interpretation of whether that dart was hitting enough of the double 10 segment to count. Like we need
True.
wise. It was either in or it wasn't. And the week the AFL's had, let's not add any interpretation into any other of the sports I follow, please.
We can talk about that off there.
So we will talk about that. But this. That's one of the nicer things about us is that we don't have that sort of thing. So you're always going to run into a really well thrown dart that just that hits something flush and doesn't go in.
Yeah.
But it's still a little bit frustrating for players, I'm
It
sure.
is. Anyway, that's
Especially for
just
someone like
something
Gary Anderson, who's had like 1,000 in his career.
yeah.
It's unbelievable.
There you go. But something that was also disappointing was the Players' Championship
So
tour
13
card
and
holders.
14,
Yeah.
we're not going to see many tour card holders. This sort of goes off back of conversations we had over these players missing.
Yep.
There is the argument that sometimes makes things more interesting, and for the pure darts fan, it does.
It does.
The problem is
Seeing
for
these
the
new
casual
guys
darts
off the
fan on the European tour, it certainly
tours.
doesn't. This one is less problematic because you got to be a real proper hardcore if you're caring much about the floor events.
Yep.
But I still think it's a little bit disappointing that all of these names from the Premier League or near Premier League aren't going. Aspinall, Bunting, Clayton, Humphreys, Littler, Price, Rock,
That's the whole eight,
Searle,
isn't it?
Van Veen.
Yeah.
Van Goen's going.
Oh, sorry, Van
This is in
Goen's
Hildesheim,
Yep.
Germany, which is a nightmare to get to from the UK, which is why it's happening. So I don't know
People
whether
said
the
that.
PDC needs to be a bit selective over what events it's giving and where and how to get to places. Now Milton Keynes is famously not exactly a picturesque destination, but at least it's
No.
easy to get to
Yeah,
comparatively. So from this year's Premier League, no Bunting, no Clayton, no Humphreys, no Littler, no Price, no Rock, no Van Veen. So it is just Michael Van Goen is there. So if he doesn't win one of these Pro Tours, then we know he's in proper trouble.
Oh, yeah.
I also did want to say, it looks like Love won't even bother showing up to a single Pro Tour this
No,
year.
it doesn't look like it.
So
He might actually qualify.
He won the
the
tournament
Play
last year, the Play
Championship
Finals.
finals, yeah.
He won't even get a pound on the board. It won't matter for him.
Doesn't care.
Which will open up what usually happens with this conversation is the fact that will we eventually see, and we probably will in some degree, for most if not all big tournaments, is the top 16 will qualify for everything because you don't want, if you're ITV who broadcast the Play Championship Finals, if you're Labrokes who sponsor it, I think Labrokes still sponsor that. You want Wonder Boy there, and if he's not there, then they get annoyed.
They do.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. There's also the argument, I would also love to see them for this Players' Championship Finals do a more sort of, instead of putting all 64 players in at the start, stagger them into like you do with the UK Open.
Yeah,
To give
yeah.
benefits to guys who finish top 8, top 16. Will it be incentive enough for Luke Littler to show up? Well, maybe not, because he knows he'll probably just win those matches anyway. But it'll be good for someone like Damon Hetto was the number 3 on the Pro Tour last year, then lost first round of the Players' Championship Finals. If you did sort of a stagger in system, he would go in later, and that would be his benefit for winning all those Pro Tours. He gets to come in a little bit later. He gets more guaranteed money.
That's true.
So I think that's something that the PDC should do. Would it be enough to change the opinion of all of these guys? Probably, maybe not.
No.
Well, it probably doesn't matter for Luke Littler much if he's seed 53 or 5 for the
No,
Players'
I
Championship
don't think he
Finals. I
cares.
think he'll approach it in the same way with the confidence that he's going to beat anyone who
Yeah.
plays him. But
He's already won it as well, so-
Yeah, exactly. But it would be a good incentive for other players to perhaps show up a bit more often, and just a good reward for the players who are dominant on the Pro Tour throughout all
True.
those 34 Players' Championship events.
No, that's true. That's true. But again, it just depends on how enticing it is to actually make these top tier players to go. Like, I mean, it makes sense that they want to just take those days off and rest and recover.
Especially with this
Do their
last
own
push for the
practice.
Premier League for these
Exactly.
guys.
Yeah, that's true. So it makes sense. It's obviously it's disappointing again for the sponsor sort of stuff, and for fans who are keen as mustard to watch all these floor events. But again, I can understand why that they're doing it.
Yeah,
So
it makes total sense why you do it.
Yeah.
It's if it was only a few of them, then we wouldn't be talking about this. But the fact that it's every single
Literally
one
the
of them but
Premier
Van
League- I know.
Goen, and it could have been a Premier League lineup when you throw in like the likes of Aspinall and Searle.
Ryan Searle,
Carl
yeah.
Sneed and Oscar Lukasiak are sitting there like
g'day.
sore thumbs. Hello, remember
Yeah.
me? I'm a tour guide holder too. Look at me.
Yeah.
That's what makes it and that makes it fall to a disappointing theme.
Sure.
Right, let's get to the
What isn't
latest
disappointing, though?
news. Future Star returns next week when we've got lots of JDC stuff happening this week. We'll get to that later. Latest news, Ben Robb and Jonny Tata to represent New Zealand at the World Cup.
How good's this? Yeah, the Dust
best
Players
possible
New Zealand
pairing.
page. Yeah, I reckon it is. I mean, obviously, they're good mates. We saw them at the ANZ Premier League. They were very, very good on those nights for sure. So, yeah, it was the way it all panned out. I think there were
a couple of events
some
during the weekend.
qualifying tournaments across the
Yeah.
weekend. Yeah, so
And they were
Ben Robb won a final, which got him into it, and Tata, I think, won one as well, or did pretty well on prize money sort of thing. So
Yeah.
they'll be pairing up, and I think it's a good pairing. Who was it last year? I'm just trying to remember.
It was
the
Rob
same, or
and
was it
Puha.
Puha,
Puha,
yeah,
because he was a
Puha.
tour card holder.
Yeah, gotcha.
So that's very good. Now,
Yeah, it's
you
good.
just did mention the ANZ Premier League there briefly.
Yes.
And we actually spoke about it through online communications. The fact that last year we got
Oh,
news
yes, yeah, go for
on the Melbourne dates. So let's do this properly.
Sure,
Before
yeah,
we
go
start
for
this
it.
podcast, we used to do other things at extra time, and we talked about the ANZ Premier League starting.
Yep.
And we were disappointed that it wasn't in Melbourne. Now that was December 24. In April 25,
Yes.
we got confirmation of all
Early
the
April,
dates.
yeah.
It was the start of April, maybe even the very end of March. Oh, it was around
I think
there.
it was early April.
We'll say
February.
early April. We definitely recorded the episode
Yeah,
in
we
early
did.
April. The news might have happened at the end of March. It actually doesn't really matter.
Yep.
Around that time, we got news about the dates for this year's for the 2025 Premier League,
25, yeah.
which had obviously at the start in Melbourne. We're now.
Yes.
This is now the last day of April. We're recording
It's about to
this.
hit May.
And we've got nothing. And the ANZ Premier League has to start earlier this year
Yep,
because
they're
the
forced
winner
to.
goes to the Grand Slam,
Correct.
which is mid-November. There's also the interesting element of the World Series finals would probably clash in a way as well. If a guy was to win a match at Wollongong or in New Zealand, they would be entitled usually to play the World Series finals in Amsterdam. So do you open up that avenue? Do you just decide, you know what, I don't want to go there and force your place to stay there? Do you start the ANZ Premier League and then stop it and take a week off and then come back? Like people
Who
sometimes
knows?
say with the European Premier League should happen around the time of the UK Open.
'Cause it was just 8 straight weeks, so.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. So
No idea.
we're waiting on this. We're still waiting.
Hello, knock, knock.
ADA,
Anyone home?
PDC, please do let us know if anyone has any inside information. Please tell us.
I guarantee
we need.
tomorrow it'll be, it's
Yeah,
announced.
you know, it's probably-
always happens, right?
Yeah, can you just double check like the PDC website or the Australian Darts Association's Facebook page just to be 1,000% sure we've got nothing? It'd be very hilarious if this news broke right now.
That'd be
But
so funny.
we need to know, like, if this has to happen earlier.
Yeah.
This has to happen in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, it has to, surely.
Like, yeah, you can't push this back any longer
I'm on the PDC news and.
because it would be on the PDC.
nothing.
It would be on the
Yeah.
PDC's website because
Player championship
all the
entries, that was
ANZ
it.
Premier League stuff was on there. So we need something.
Yep.
So we will wait and see with bated breath
will.
what happens there. So I just thought I'd shout that while we're talking New Zealand.
No doubt.
Let's go back to the Pro Tour. Vessel Nyman continues
Yes.
his domination on the
Fourth
floor.
Pro Tour title, if you don't mind.
And he only played and if you backtrack that and include like the last few events of last year, he wins he's win like half of these events. It's insane.
Well, he's won a third of it this year. Sorry.
One third. One
yeah.
third exactly.
Remarkable.
Yeah.
So.
So there he was.
Great numbers as
Scott
well.
Williams, Tom Sykes, Bielczecki, who we mentioned earlier, Searle, Nathan Potter making a quarterfinal.
Yeah, that's
Tom
very good.
Bissell making a semi, and Jermaine Waterman making a final. So there's some interesting names
Very
there.
much so.
He blitzed through it again. Anything that has been said has already been said about Vessel Nyman winning on a
Yes.
Pro Tour by us
Yeah.
and other people, so we don't need to dwell on this too long. Very well done, Vessel. I think he's now 15 in the race for the World Match Play. Let's see you do it on the television now, Vessel. Your time is
fact
now.
check that. Yeah.
You'll fact check that while I talk about Adam Lake, and you'll talk about him in a second.
Correct, 15,
He
450k pounds.
Just
Yes.
rock. This
Hell
was
yes.
extraordinary. There were a few Premier League players who lost in surprising ways
Yes.
during this block.
Peak
Just Rock
League.
lost to Adam Lake, Peak League, yes.
Thanks, Dalton. That's a great hashtag. We love that.
And I also saw Dimitri Vandenberg beat Jan van Veen as well in the first round of a Pro Tour, which is like, where did that come from? 96 average, and also beating Arno Merck. He didn't kick on within Play Championship 12. He had a very disappointing performance
Yeah,
against Benjamin
unfortunately.
Pratmar. But otherwise, like beating Josh Rock that's an achievement in itself. In 6'3", 96 average,
How good.
a strong performance for Adam Lake. So
Very
we
much so.
continue to follow him with great interest.
More prize money, which is good for him as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's much needed.
Yep.
And Yeah, so the minimum achievement for him obviously is in 2 years' time to be in the World Top 64 to extend that tour card, and obviously play well when he's representing Australia at the World Cup in the not too distant future. The CLDC Tour returned. Its first 3 events were held. Jesus Salate dominated his way through the first couple of events, and then Norman Madhu won the third event. So I've got the first 2 events on here. And the Order of Merit at the right. Russian Sweeting, right? He missed his flight, so he wasn't there for the first event. And when it was basically between him and Salate through last year. So he's got a ton of ground to make up to the point where it's probably frustrating. He didn't really have a strong weekend anyway, so probably it might not have mattered too much, but. That is quite something. So Salate's out there on top. Now, it would feel like, just a done deal that him and you see there Victor Gullien there in 4th for Argentina. It'd just be a done deal that they'd make it through the what was also held that weekend, the World Cup qualifier. But that's not what happened. The CLDC World Cup qualifier sees Trinidad and Tobago.
How good.
Will be going to the World Cup for the very first time.
Debut.
Joshua Balfour, James Walken beating the 2 big names, at least for me, on the run there. So Salate and Gullien there. And then Russian Sweeting playing with a Lorenzo.
Yes.
So this was what I wanted to see. It wasn't me. Those 2 were together, and that's what I was hoping for. And then, as you can see, there was a pretty straightforward job in the final with a 10-1, which is a long format for. It's not the strongest quality, guys. Come on.
Do we know the rough numbers? I mean, obviously have to click on the thing, but obviously your screen.
50s, 60s.
Yeah,
that should be
right.
That also should read CDLC at the top there, not CLDC. I hit the wrong one. Anyway.
Oh, spelling error.
Yeah,
you blame me.
Yeah, this one was on me. Did I get it right on the other one?
You did. I forgot what it was. But
I mucked it up there as well. Anyway,
called you at that time.
Yeah, well, hey, I
called
found
yourself
it.
out.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
See, I held myself to account on this show. The CDLC also in partnership with the CDC, who do stuff in the USA and Canada. The Latin and South America is this tour. So I'm surprised to see that the Argentinians who won their group last year won't be there. Disappointed that Russian and Lorenzo won't be. It will be Trinidad and Tobago debuting at the World Cup for the very first time. So big shout out there. There was a ton of international stuff happening. The Hungarian Super League is on. So no surprise that the Hungarians make up the top 8. Who could possibly else make it through? We will see. The Nordic and Baltic tour happened as well, and that DPNZ tour. So Ben Robb had a very strong weekend. He's currently on top. There's Puhar as well, we mentioned there, who's in 4th position. And that's all. That in itself is also a race for the aforementioned ANZ Premier League. Not that we need all the information. Come on, tell us.
Chop.
It's going to happen tomorrow or during the weekend, isn't it?
Hopefully.
It can't, if it's another 2 weeks, if we're back here in 2 weeks and we got nothing,
if we're here in mid-May, then what's going on?
I'm going to actually be concerned. Right. They need to sell tickets. They need to they need to make things available. So we need to be back. They better come back to Melbourne.
What's going on?
So that happened in the international tours over the weekend. Hungarian, Nordic and Baltic, and New Zealand tours ongoing. Here is the World Championship race as of right now. So you can see there Beau Greaves on top of the Pro Tour qualifiers, which is something. David Cameron, who we mentioned last week, won the Cross Border Challenge. So he's the first guy who's officially there. You can punch his ticket, you can guarantee it, barring him pulling out or going to Lakeside or anything like that. But I doubt that. I don't think any of these guys are picking Lakeside. I think those days are in the past. Beau Greaves did it a few years with the women's, but other than that, it probably ain't going to happen. You can see everyone there is who would be if it ended today, but of course, there's plenty more to go. Some big names not there, with the likes of Vandenberg and Van Barneveld having pole starts to the year. There's still two TBC spots, so interesting to see whether they just do what they did last year and give them to the tour card holder qualifier, or do something else. One thing that was sort of TBC that was confirmed actually last week, but we didn't mention it, was the Trans-Tasman Championship. It'll happen in August in Sandgate, Queensland. That's Brisbane. It's a 3-day event, but the main one that we really care about is that last day, where the top 16 on the Australian and top 16 on the New Zealand tours will come together in a set play format. They'll battle it out. The winner gets a spot at the World Championship.
How good.
So the old Oceanic Masters format I guess in a way, is back under a different name and a
Yep.
different history. So we will see the Trans-Tasmanian
Yeah.
Championship being held in Sandgate at the end of August, and
Again,
that offers a spot at the Worlds.
That's such great work from the ADA and the DPNZ to get that together with the PDC, because obviously there wasn't as much going on last year, but now the ANZ Premier League and all these other tours going on have expanded Oceanic Darts, which is really, really good. So great work.
It's great to see unity between all these different organisations
Absolutely.
as well. The World Series of Darts will resume in June, and we have the fields for the
Yes,
next
we
two.
do.
And if this had happened, if this announcement was a few days later, they might have been able to shoehorn Beau Greaves into one of these. It hasn't
Nice.
happened, which is a little bit frustrating. The changes, it's basically the Premier League format, but with a few changes. James Wade goes in
Yeah, it's
for
cool.
Michael Van Goen in the US and for Josh Rock.
Mm.
In the Nordic Darts Masters, it'll be fine. It'll be an event. It'll happen. It'll be darts. We'll cover it.
Yeah.
Sim Bunting is the defending champion at the Nordic Darts Masters, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
And
Onward again.
we'll be back
Nice.
at MSG, which is always great in
Yeah.
the US.
Good venue. Sure. Yeah, it'll be good. Be good. Yeah, it's I'll see Wadey get featured in both, so that's good. I think
It is deserved.
I think despite not being in the Premier League, which was arguable for him to miss out, it's good to see that they're still giving him some attention, no doubt.
Yes,
so that's
and
good.
he's a known name around the world with being
He
around
is.
in darts for so long, so
Yep.
he does kind of
Yep.
fit perfectly for the World
Had
Series.
the international
International pairs
as
at
well.
Motors.
Yes, so the winners were Team Belgium in Andy Bartons and Brian Roman. It wouldn't have been them if Jim McEwen hit a 170 checkout to win the final. He just missed the ball, so that couldn't have happened.
And I
but
wasn't fancying it,
was
and then he hit the first. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my goodness, he can't. He
Yeah.
couldn't, could he? He couldn't,
Nearly
could he?
did. Nearly
He
did.
nearly did.
So they win the third installment after Republic of Ireland won it last time, and we're Series 14 now. It just keeps going on. There's
It never stops.
14
Modus.
series already. So there you go. Jeff Smith, Cone Whitehead, they are two past series winners. They return.
Mark Durbridge, a former World Championship
Yes,
finalist.
so there's some good names this week, but they're probably the more two notable ones. Group A has wrapped up, given we're recording on a Thursday. Danny Baggish is
Well
the
done,
winner.
Danny.
11-4, 22 points, solid leg win difference, so he'll be the first name in finals night. We had a game as well. Nothing too glamorous
I was
for
terrible.
me.
I was terrible. I was
You
just.
said you weren't great. So.
I wasn't feeling good. Let's talk about better. 4-9 average. I wasn't close. That 87 was all right, but the rest of it was terrible.
Fair enough. Here we go.
What
My
happened here,
game
Josh? What happened
from
here?
Last week. Oh, my goodness. Well, first of all, fair play, Dalton. You were fantastic. But I had probably the biggest Carlton-type choke you'll ever see. We say to not bring AFL stuff into this, but literally was. If you go to the
Look,
next slide.
every other darts podcast mentions Association football, so this Australian darts podcast can talk some Australian
That's,
football on
leg by
occasion.
leg. I was
Oh my
4-1
goodness!
up in the fifth leg, and guess what happened? I lost the next 5 legs to lose 6-4. I had multiple chances of doubles. I was playing okay, but just it was those doubles that just absolutely put me to bed.
But the board has full confidence in Josh to rebound, and he will be the man that will lead us to
Oh,
premiership
man.
success.
It was I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. But fair play, fair play.
Plus
I have
5 legs
no
in a row,
excuses. No
when
excuses.
even just one would have forced a draw.
I know. But there you go. That's
How much longer is going in this competition, by the way?
There's 2 more weeks, so it's this week and next week. But hey, that's just how
This
the
is
cookie
going
crumbles.
on
eh?
and on and on.
No, but it's good. It's really good. It's really enjoyable. So well played. He does his own content, so he's a good
Nev.
follower of the channel. So make sure you subscribe to his work, Instagram. I think he does YouTube as well. Not sure, but he's a great bloke. Cody
But
Atwell.
I did mention we
Yep.
did mention last time where he did the video on Unterbucker's miscount,
Yes.
and that somehow got
It
10
went-
million views.
I
It's like,
told
what is
you.
this?
You didn't believe me. You
Well,
were like,
I kind of
no
believed
way.
you, but
Yeah.
I didn't know any contents. I hadn't seen it.
It's to like 15 million now. Like, I actually asked him, like, how's it gone this well? He's like, I think it's just the algorithm hit non-darts people, and then it just sort of spiraled out from there because
it was potluck.
'cause
That's
of
what it
what
is. And no
happened.
disrespect, Nev, because we've done that too on times. Well,
sometimes here and there.
I've done that on times.
Yeah.
So
Weird.
sometimes you just reel in people you didn't expect to.
Yeah. Well,
You're playing
great.
Cody this week.
Yeah, well, his channel growth has gone amazing. Yes, playing Cody this week. So last couple weeks of the series, things a bit disjointed there, but I'm like, again, bottom half, won't be qualifying, but again, just good fun for the whole sake of it. Again, it can be a bit annoying week by week. You have losses, and it's like, because I do take this seriously, despite being, just a fun event.
You want to win.
I do, I've got like competitive nature in me. I go for Carlton for a reason because, 16 premierships, but not at the moment. Anyway, so stats. Again, if I'm averaging over 50, I'm relatively happy with that. But I do want to be pushing the 55s, but not for now, at least. Now, something more important. Premier League night 13. I will get the graphic up
Let's-
whilst you start.
How long have we been
talking
going at
about
this,
that.
Josh? I don't have a time. I have my phone here.
Sorry? Time you said?
Yes.
128.
It's
So
1:20.
we're
Okay,
making
we've been
pretty
going
good
nearly
time,
an hour.
actually.
Okay.
So let's discuss night 13 at Aberdeen. We go to Scotland. A lot going on. So what do we think will be the outcome this week? What do you think?
Well, let's start with the first quarterfinal.
Let's
Littler
do it.
versus Rock. I fancy. Who could it possibly be?
Who
It's
could it
Luke
be?
Littler 6-3.
Luke Little 6-3. All right. Well, once this thing actually loads, I'll start putting in the numbers. All right. Littler 6-3. I like it. I will go.
You're gonna make it. You're gonna make it a little bit nicer for Rocky, aren't you? It's gonna be 6-4 Littler. That's what he's about to say. Wait for it.
Rocky 6-4.
Well,
Why
the last
not?
time I said that wouldn't happen.
Why not? For the sake of it. I
Well,
don't
the
know.
last time I said that wouldn't happen,
I
you,
feel like he has a
it
decent head-to-head
happens.
record against him, or is it just me? Like I feel like
he plays reasonably well. It's
Yeah.
not like going Price. Plays reasonably well, but I don't think he wins a ton. So best of luck with that.
See how we
Stephen
go.
Bunting, going Price. You go first this time.
Okay. Ooh. Big game for Bunting. Big game. If he wins and
If
goes
he
on a little
wins,
run,
he's half a chance. But if he loses,
you never
it's
know.
all over.
but unfortunately, I see Price going over the board. We'll go 6-2 for me. Price 6-2.
I feel like we just need something crazy to happen in these next couple of nights just to hope for it. Let's give Bunting a chance, a
Yep.
6-4 win over Goan Price. Let's
6-4.
make it. Let's hope for it. Goan Price, it's still doable. His last couple of Premier League outings just really haven't been all that strong. I felt.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Clayton Van Veen. Ooh. Johnny's just been in such good form, man. It's hard to not go and say him, so I'll be boring. But again, I would love to see Van Veen make a little run. But I think on this occasion, it'll be Clayton for me. I think Van Veen will put up a good fight. We'll go 6-4. I'll give Van Veen 4 legs on that one. 6-4.
I'll be less generous. Clayton 6-2.
6-2.
There. If
Okay.
if you're losing to Dimitri Van den Berg in 2026 on the Pro Tour, it's hard to imagine you're bouncing back at
That's fair.
the
6-2 for you.
at
Okay.
the Premier League, but you never know.
Last
Last
fixture.
match, Humphreys
versus
Van Gogh, and
MVG.
we need Humphreys to
Manifesting
beat Van Gogh.
chaos. You gonna do
We
it?
need him. Yes, I'm manifesting chaos. I didn't think Van Gogh would make the 4. I still can't believe he's in the 4. I don't think he's played that well at all.
Fair.
He
Well,
wins
we'll see.
matches he doesn't deserve to win, and lose matches he should win. He's all over the place. We need to manifest chaos here.
Fair.
Let's give Humphreys a 6-3 victory
6-3.
over MVG. Cool
Okay.
hand the way.
I agree. Yeah, again, he needs a win just to keep himself in the mix, in the hunt. So I'll give him the win. We'll go 6-5, last league decider. Let's do it. Now, who will take the nightly win? Let's see. What are we thinking? If
I've
Ro-
got Lilla versus Bunting and Caitlin versus Humphreys. I'm just very tempted to just try and hope that we see something proper special with or not special, but we see it closing up in this year's Premier League
Yep.
standings, and I'm gonna try and will it into existence. Luke Humphreys finally gets over the line. Surely,
You predicted Humphreys
I
like
predict
3 or
Humphreys
4
for-
weeks
well,
in a row.
average-
I kid
it's
you
not
not.
3 or 4 weeks in
I
a row.
kid
It's,
you not.
it's like 3 of the last 4 or 5, Josh. It's not
Well, it helps
average.
me 'cause
But if I just keep doing it, he will get like he can't not. And he's going to beat Bunting in the final 6-4. That's what's going to happen. Bunting's going to beat
It helps
Littler
me 'cause
again.
I don't need to change much on the graphic, so that's fine for me. Okay, well,
I-
coming again. I
if
swear
he
I have to go
just-
back. Last 3, I swear.
Yeah. It's been something like that. But I'm just going to keep doing it until he wins.
Fair enough. Okay.
Because it surely happens, right? Like, Humphrey just wins a night here somewhere, right?
Has to.
Right?
He's
Right? He's the one number 2. He's the defending
too
champion.
good for crying out loud. All right. Rock, Price, Clayton, Humphreys. We'll go. I would love to see Rocky make a final, but I just don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately.
It's
So
not going to happen. He's not going to even win.
it might happen. It might happen. It was so close. Was it last week or the week before? I think he lost.
It was the week before.
6-4, 6-5.
It was
in the-
6-5 to Clayton.
Yeah, so close. Anyway, I reckon he'll make a final sometime. He is good enough. He's shown he's good enough.
So you
Anyway,
got Gezi in the
not
top
on
half?
this occasion. Price on this occasion, the top half.
You're struggling to see it.
Humphreys in the bottom half, but I will not predict Humphreys for the win. We'll
Yeah,
go
I've got Gezi.
Price. It'll be a 6-3
There is a good
victory against
when
Luke
you say
Humphreys.
Price hasn't been playing well in the Premier League the last few weeks, you go, yeah, that is true, but that also means he's kind of due for one. So
Yeah, exactly.
you can sort of say that. I just don't see him winning 3 matches, but he might.
There you go.
It's all plausible on your day. So this is the week
is.
ahead. This is what's going to happen. We've got Challenge Tour events. We've got heaps of JDC. We have the Asian Tour is back with the all-important Josh
Oh, so important.
qualifier. It's the
Sunday.
second there. Here it is
Yep.
On the Sunday.
Yep.
3
With the
spots
cursor.
available. The
Huge.
way these qualifiers have gone, I'm a little bit worried for. I assume Paul Lim is going to be there trying to do it again for
Hope
Singapore.
so.
You hope so. You would think so. He hasn't had
Fingers
the greatest
crossed.
start of the
Touch
year. The World Cup wouldn't be the same without Paul Lim, but it also wouldn't be the same without Simon Whitlock, and there's no Simon Whitlock.
Yeah.
Like so.
Shame.
Surely, but
Yeah, like
we
he
will
goes.
see. And
Interesting, like he goes.
I'm hoping for Paul Lim at the World Cup again, but
Yeah.
I'm slightly worried. But you never know. You never know.
What's going on? Yeah.
Right,
few days.
that's gonna
I'm sure you'll be
happen in the
eagerly
next few
watching,
weeks.
Paul Lim
There'll be more pro
week-
tours as well over
weekend.
the weekend with 13 and
Yep.
14, as we already mentioned. Now, I
Alright.
believe the Darts Archive is the next one.
I hope so. Yeah, I think it is.
So this week's a slightly different
is.
one in the sense that you already know the outcome of this match, but it's important that we rewatch it
Yeah.
so that because we saw Beau Greaves make history during the week. So
I think I
let's
know
go
where this
to
is
where
going.
this where the history was
Yes.
really made. It
Yeah,
had
I
to
know where this
be.
is going.
Fallon
Yes.
Sherrick beating Ted Evans to the World Championship. We need to put this in the Darts Archive, and when we get to the World Championship, there's so many matches we might never get to it. So let's do it right now.
Yeah.
There's also I will also do a bit talking next week about how sort of different like this is compared to the way it was.
Yep.
In terms of qualifying, it was a one-off qualifier. It wasn't a series. Ted Evans was no slouch, by the way. He won a
no.
World Youth title,
Yep.
and he's on the.
It's not
He'll be
bad.
a top up for the Pro Tour this week. So this sort of set the pathway for everything, and it was a match where obviously the crowd didn't exactly want Evans to do any good at all.
That's fair.
You had Ross Bray as the caller, as the referee. He was doing a great job.
Yeah. As always.
So this was the match that made history. So go watch it. Why not? It's
a
6
good
million
match.
people here have watched it on this edition. So
I've
so
watched
why
it.
not give
You've
it a
watched
watch?
it.
Well, I'll watch it again, and
I will
I'll
too.
come back with a bit of. I'll try and see. We'll try and put it in sort of a timeline or sort of time capsule of this is the way we were doing things in 2020 to see how women's darts and affiliate darts as a whole has sort of grown over the next
6 years ago.
few years. It's been
Time flies,
quite
eh?
a while, and no one else has done it since. And you would think now that Beau Greaves is surely on track to win a match at the World Championship this year. But the
Well,
way the
really
draw
hope.
works out, she might draw a top 4 player. Obviously, we're
Oh,
available on YouTube,
right.
and it's an audio only that
Yes.
that I'll try and put up as soon as we start. Actually, sort of like either weekend or Monday, I actually had a brief realization. I just had to double check that I actually put the audio edition up because we did it on the Wednesday, so it was all a little bit
did.
different. I was
Yep.
like, did I actually do that? I did do it. I had downloaded it. I had done it correctly, but
Back yourself.
for a brief second there, I genuinely had to log in and check in and do like, okay, it's fine. I did do that. It's all good. And you should probably also change that screenshot, just given we've done more than 48
yeah,
episodes
I-
now.
I did notice.
So maybe change
will.
that.
I will.
Extra time in the 9 Dub podcast is available
And the same
on
thing. It says
Instagram.
episode 49, so I'll change that as well.
Yeah, so let's
We're very close to 100 followers at the moment. This is good.
yes.
Good stuff.
I
So
thought you were about to say episodes, in which case we're
No,
nowhere close. Josh.
not
Well,
yet.
we're not close.
Not
We're
yet.
more than halfway.
yeah, I'll say we're putting out more sort of short form live content now, which
Yeah,
is good.
it's a really bold strategy of just copying what everyone else has been doing with the whole green screen effect.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. I did
So-
one on Whistling. You did one on Beau Greaves,
And I did.
the horse.
The first
of
one
course.
was Bunting Littler.
Yeah.
I would have if Rashid Sweeney and Lorenzo had gone through, I would have done one on that as well.
Yeah.
If Paul Lim wins the World Cup, it's just going to be sort of like breaking news that we will eventually talk about in a more longer form here.
depth. Yeah,
but
sure.
we'll give you a brief 60-second, or at least I will, a brief
Yep.
60-second breaking news sort of thing.
Try to
With
do it
the
more often
background behind it.
because it's just fun to do. So we try and do it for a while. But
And
I try and do it.
it's much easier to do when you just other people do captions. But I'm not gonna bother with that
Yeah.
sort of stuff. Right,
Cool.
We'll see you next time. Big edition,
Excellent.
Josh. That was
Huge.
excellent.
That was really fun.
57 episodes done. 58 next week. Who
That was
knows
good.
what sort of history will be made next week? It's
good.
gonna be another big edition next week.
As
Let's just
always.
hope that with the Premier League tomorrow, that we really see a consolidation in that sort of in the race for fourth. I worry we might
Yes.
not, but I've tried to will it into existence in this edition. So
Chaos.
let's hope we see a bit of chaos
Let's do
in
it.
Aberdeen.
All right.
This has been the 9 Dub Podcast.